following the sacking of Catherine Devaney after her Logie tweets the other day, from what I can see through the use of my own Twitter account, it's just another medium where you can have your 140-character rant into cyberspace. What exactly is the difference between doing that and saying those exact same words in a crowded public space?
Yeah, Helen Razor, you've de-twitted for some reason, and perhaps you could explain to us why in the course of this answer.
Well, I think that anybody who's endured my rants this evening would know why I might remove myself from another public forum. It seemed like the only sensible thing to do. I rather like Catherine, whom I know, unsurprisingly.
Well, you shared some particularly obscene exchanges over a period of time, and I gather...
How do you know, Mr. Tweet?
I gather they no longer exist.
No, they don't. No, I just didn't feel that I needed to. They weren't particularly obscene. I didn't leave a little Hansel and Gretel, trail of obscenity breadcrumbs on the internet.
They weren't refused classification.
I said, what was the question?
Well, it's about... I can't remember exactly, to be honest with you.
Well, the question is it any different for you to say this in a public space or on Twitter? And it comes down to the very first question to you. Is the internet special?
It is a good question. No, it's true, because Catherine Devaney actually said it's like passing notes in class, except in this case, you pass them to the principal.
Yeah, I can't concur. I think that was a little disingenuous of her to say that. I do it for the same reason that I presume that Catherine does it, because we're dreadful show-offs. And
Did you find yourself crossing the line, as she evidently has found herself doing and suffered as a result?
Well, she's far better known than I am, and was, up until last week, far more gainfully employed. So she had a lot more to lose, and I don't attract as much attention. But no, I mean, I didn't really cross the line.
So why did you stop doing it?
The reason this relates to some of the things that Kaiser was hinting at earlier. I mean, the internet, I mean, whether you are a red guard or a redneck, in real life, you can turn into one of those sort of fairly ideologically two-dimensional people very easily on the internet, and I found that happening to myself.
Yeah, Kaiser, I just want to hear you on this Twitter phenomenon, and do you agree with what you're just hearing here? I mean, the internet can be a dark place.
To the young woman's question, I think that there's absolutely no difference. There's absolutely no... I don't understand why the internet is constantly treated as a different form of media from the rest of them. I really don't understand it. I don't think there's anything special or particular. I mean, the scale of it, of course, is much larger. The connectivity is bigger, but it doesn't remove itself from the same rules that govern other forms of media, including conversation.
I think what's happened is that because technology has kind of added itself on top of our lives, we see it as two separate spheres. But I think we need to get past that. I think that the virtual world and the real world is the world now, and it's only going to increase in that direction. So the sooner we come to terms with that, I think the easier it will be for us to legislate and to regulate and to...
I think there's a big difference between having a chat with your mates in the pub or saying something in a crowd and then putting something out there on the record forever and ever, and it highlights the dangers of some social media that perhaps a lot of young people, a lot of teenagers are putting stuff out there, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook, that could come back to haunt them. And I think that's the salient lesson out of the whole Devaney affair, that you can't just treat it as a conversation with a mate saying, ha ha, isn't this funny? It's out there forever for people to criticise and comment on.